This episode is proudly supported by the new Capital Food Market Canberra, where you can explore the very best producers, artisans, fresh food providores and hospitality venues of the region. Here is Christa from Deli Cravings.
It's going to be a beautiful marketplace. It's going to be busy, it's going to be vibrant, it's going to have choice. It's all under one roof, so the weather's not going to be a problem. Yeah, just can't wait to see the community all back.
For more information, go to capitalfoodmarket.com.au or visit the markets and feed your curiosity.
Just a little bit of everything. People come and ask, and then I'd say, wow, that's a great idea. Put it in, build it up, and build a clientele for it. And that's how it sort of ended up being so multicultural.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. There are few more enthralling food retail experiences than exploring a delicatessen with an array of small goods, cheeses, condiments and pantry staples from Australia and Europe. There are few that do it better than today's guest. Christa is the owner of Deli Cravings and Mart Deli in Canberra. Christa, how are you?
Hi, Anthony. Well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to get you on the show. You've got two of the best delis in Canberra, one in the north, one in the south. How are things going at the moment?
Thank you. That was a really nice intro. Things are going well. Mart Deli's doing very well. I've just acquired that 2 years ago, and we decided to go in that direction as the Belconnen markets were going through their renovations. It was a little bit of uncertainty there, but Belconnen's sort of almost at the end now. We're getting closer to having that all behind us and having a beautiful new shop.
Yeah, the Capital Food Market, which you've been a part of the Belconnen Fresh Food Markets, and now Capital Food Market is opening very shortly. What's exciting you about the opportunities with that?
Oh, gosh. It's going to be a beautiful marketplace. It's going to be busy, it's going to be vibrant, it's going to have choice. It's all under one roof, so the weather's not going to be a problem. Car parking underneath, we haven't had car parks for a couple of years. We've been doing it hard where we are in the temporary location. So we just can't wait to have it all up and running.
Well, running a deli is kind of in your blood, which we're going to get to shortly. But tell us a little bit about the offerings that you have there with your delis.
Okay, so Deli Cravings I've had for 24 years. It's the one that I can talk about the most because it's part of my life. It is my baby. We sell a lot of cheeses, sliced meats. It's a traditional European deli. It's not like sandwiches and cafes or anything like that. It's just your traditional walk in, smell the beautiful hams and cured meats, the cheeses, and then we do a lot of imported foods. So I think I've built my business over the years, obviously from what my mum's taught me, which we'll probably get into after, but it's also my customers, was what they've asked for. So I have a lot of Polish customers, Germans, Russian, Croatian, very big Croatian following. I've even started on Brazilian foods as well. So we do a bit of South American, just a little bit of everything. People come and ask, and then I'd say, wow, that's a great idea. Put it in, build it up, and build a clientele for it. And that's how it sort of ended up being so multicultural. It's jam-packed full of everything, really.
There's so many things to explore in a delicatessen. Is it hard finding these sort of niche products, when people come in looking for them?
Yeah. I have, fantastic sales reps and great contacts, especially over the 24 years. So when someone's looking for something, there's hundreds and hundreds of products that people want to introduce. But you can't take them all. Like I'd love to. If I had a shop twice the size, I'd probably put in more lines, but you've got to stop somewhere and draw the line somewhere. But so when people ask, often I can find it, I can source it. So I'm always happy to do that. And then I usually find once I source that other people want it. It's like, wow, why didn't I do that years ago? So yeah, it was trial and error for a long time.
You mentioned all the incredible European countries that you source product from, and they've got a long history with delicatessens and small goods and cheeses. Australia is a younger country, but all of that world has developed incredibly in Australia. Is there some amazing Australian sort of small goods and cheeses in your shops as well?
Yes, actually, but it's more. Well, I'm guessing it's people have well butchers, chefs that have got their ideas, brought it to Australia, or tried to mimic what they do overseas. And, some of the products we make here, like our prosciuttos and our cured meats, I guess all of our beautiful hams, our leg hams, Barossa Valley. We get a lot of our foods up from Adelaide. The hams are incredible. They're smoked Kranskis, they're chorizos, cabanas, all their smoked ribs and their smoked hocks for their winter soups. There's just, it's just endless. The amount of beautiful foods that are made in Australia are incredible.
You mentioned Deli Cravings has been going 24 years, which is extraordinary. But within your family, it's many, many more years. Take us back to when you were young. Where did you grow up, and what sort of role did food play for you?
Okay, well, yeah, I was basically born into it. Well, not quite, but my mum is from Germany and my dad was Austrian, and they met in Australia. Mum came to Australia when she was 18, and she came from a family that had a guest house and a little shop, a little mini supermarket, a little grocery store. So she sort of learned a little bit of retail there before she came to Australia. She came to live with her auntie and uncle, and then she met my dad while she was working in Goodlands, which is a deli in the city in Canberra. So she's been in deli since she was 18. So that was back in, I don't know, the 50s. Yeah. So then she went and had children. We were born, my two brothers, older brothers, and myself. And my dad was a builder. We lived in Hughes, grew up there, just a normal family, little German family, I guess you would call us. And then we moved. My dad built us a house in Canberra. And we just, when I was in year 10, we went on a holiday overseas. Actually, before that happened. So when I was 12, my mum, down at the Waniasa shops, just down the road, she saw an opportunity. She thought, there's no deli down there. The supermarket didn't have a deli. It's a brand new little shopping centre, and she thought it'd be perfect. So she opened her first deli, and she called it Ingrid's Deli and Health Foods, and that was in the 70s. She kept that for about 3 years. So when I started working there when I was 13 and loved it. And then we decided my parents went overseas. They took us on a big family holiday. They hadn't been back for 20 years, and we went over there, and my dad died suddenly while we were over there. And so we came back without him, and we came back to Canberra and obviously went through the terrible times of losing my dad and her husband. And a few months later, an opportunity came up at what is it called? Woden Plaza, the farmers market. There was a deli there for sale, and they must have caught wind that my mum was probably looking for something to do and they wanted to sell. So they asked me if I wanted to work there, and I was 16 or 17 at the time. And so I started working there, and I would go home and say, "Oh, Mum, you wouldn't believe what they're doing. They're not displaying this properly, and they're not selling enough of this, and they're not cutting this right." And so she was getting very interested, and of course she ended up buying it. And so that was Vicky's Small Goods, and she called it Edelweiss. And Edelweiss, so that was back in the 80s. And then she was there for a few years, and Belconnen Markets were looking for a deli. So she thought, okay, got nothing else to do. I'll open a shop there. So she opened a shop there. I think that was in like 85. And then I don't know if anyone that's listening remembers the fires that went through the Belconnen market. So she only opened her shop in the September, and a few months later, a fire went through and burnt her shop down. Yeah, so there's been some little hurdles along the way.
There's some extraordinary hurdles. What positives did you take out of those hurdles as a sort of a young adult, sort of cutting your teeth in delis and, in the family as well?
Oh, I don't know. I think you just take it as it comes. And, well, I suppose I learned everything from my mum, and I still am learning from my mum. She's in her 80s. She's still my sounding board. But, to even have a shop that burns down after 5 months of opening, and then to reopen, I think is massive. So it was, I don't know how long she was closed for because I was quite young at the time. And she just keeps powering on. And so it's like, okay, that's what you do. You just keep going. So, yeah.
Tell us about when you first sort of opened your own store. How did that come about, and what was it like for you?
Oh, okay. So that was in 1999. So Mum she ended up selling Woden. She liked Belconnen better. It was only open 5 days a week. So much easier to have a life and run a business at the same time. So she opted to sell Woden. So I was working for her for forever, but I got married and had children, so I disappeared for a few years. And Joe's Delicatessen, which was down the other end of the Belconnen markets, came up for sale, and Joe approached Mum and said, "Oh, do you think Christa would be interested in buying my shop?" And so she asked me. I said, "Oh no, Mum, I've got kids. I don't have time for a deli." And she said, and then, like a few weeks later, "Christa, you really should do this. If you don't, I will." And I said, "Well, you can't. I will, Bev." So we bought it. Mum helped my husband and I buy it. She funded it. So I had her full support. And that was all good and well. Then we just exchanged contracts, and then I found out I was pregnant. We already had 4 children, and our boys were, we had 3 boys under the age of 8, and then fell pregnant. And we're like, what are we going to do? And it's like, okay, well, she's just going to have to fit in. We're going to have to make this work. And it did. So she was born in Easter 2000. And then the rest is history.
Running a small business is challenging enough without throwing that into the mix. What were those first couple of years like for you, and how did you get through them?
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, the first week that we opened, so my husband's a builder as well, like my dad. Unfortunately, they never met. He passed away before I met my husband. But we bought the shop, we did a refit, bought all secondhand fridges, but did the best we could, and I think it looked pretty good. Changed the design a bit, made it the way we wanted it to. And I thought, yay, we're going to open the shop and it's going to be busy. And I'm so excited. And the first week we took $2,500. I was like, oh gosh, I just cried. It's like, what have I done? But anyway, it was all uphill from there. We couldn't go down. Couldn't get any worse.
How much has the deli changed, in the last couple of decades, and also the clientele as well in Canberra?
Well, that's interesting. I thought, as Canberra gets older, we'll lose those customers. But there's people coming to Australia all the time from overseas, and they're all looking for these foods and their foods that they're used to. And yeah, there's always new customers. So really, I don't think it's really changed. I think it's just grown. Actually, it's grown, and Australians are getting used to eating these beautiful prosciuttos and cured meats and these fantastic cheeses from France. And we all have that taste for it. It's not just the Europeans.
There's so many elements to a delicatessen. How do you create a great deli? What does it take to make a great deli?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
Well, you've done it.
I hope so. Well, I think it's listening to customers. They basically have grown my business. They would ask for something, I'd put it in. Trial and error. Obviously, some things didn't work, like I was saying before. And just filling it jam-packed, keeping it fresh, keeping it looking beautiful, getting the products that people want. Yeah, putting specials out, keeping it interesting. There's always new recipes. People come in and ask for this, and it's like, what is this? I don't know what it is, so I go find it, and then that's the new trend. And you've got to follow the trends. You've got to be on top of things, on top of your game all the time.
As we mentioned at the top of the show, the Capital Food Market is just about to open. Are you making some changes or additions to Deli Cravings in the new store?
I'm trying to create. I don't have a bigger space. I really wish I had twice the size shop, but I don't. So, but it's going to have a feel of being crammed full, which is kind of my signature thing. But no, not really. I'm just trying to make it flow. I'm trying to fit in as much into a small space as I can. I want to display my cheeses, a larger display of those, and just the fresh food part of it. The groceries, I'll just cram in however I can. But yeah.
You mentioned that you learnt everything from your mum, but you've got so many kids as well. Will they be part of the future as well with the delis?
Yeah, I was hoping so. But Jessica, as you said, my daughter, I thought she'd be fantastic. She's very good at it, but she's gone off to uni to be a radiographer, so she's not interested in the deli. And my other two boys are carpenters, or three boys. There is one son left, Sam, and he's in the deli at the moment and has been for the last 2 years, and he's my only hope that he will continue the business. So I'm teaching him as much as I can.
As a deli expert, if you were to grab a basket and walk through Deli Cravings, what are some of the key products that you would pick out to take home?
Oh gosh, it's funny that you say that, because I drive myself crazy. I entertain a lot, but every time I go and shop in my own shop, it's the same things. So it's always a beautiful piece of vintage cheddar, whether it be a Barber's or an Australian King Island cheddar. But always have to be something bitey. Then I'll always go for the French Dauphinois. It's my ultimate favourite brie. It's like, if you want the best brie, everyone out there, please try it, the French Dauphinois. And it comes in a vachereuse, which is the wash rind style, which is just as good, but a little bit stronger in flavour. Then I will always go for not so much a blue, but I'd like to put a blue on my platters, but don't. And if I did, I'd go with Tarago Shadows of Blue, one of my faves. Yum. And those sticky balsamic pearls, they're fantastic to put over the top of your cheese platter. Always go for the Italian prosciutto and some beautiful salami.
Canberra has an incredibly mature market culture. They've got the big markets in the north and south and many farmers markets as well. Why do you think that is, and how important is that sort of market to the community?
Oh, fresh food markets have choice and all that fresh food, and it is so important. It's so community driven, and as we found out with Bell Cotton markets, the fish shops had to close for a couple of months while we're renovating, and customers are just devastated. Where's the fish shop? Where's the fish shop? It's just so important to have these choices of fresh food, and it's incredible. It's going to be a beautiful marketplace, and you're going to have lots of choice.
Well, you've built an incredible business over many generations, and have done your mum proud. But what do you love about what you do?
Wow. Oh, gee. I don't know. It's probably it's the business side of things as well. But watching the business grow over the years has been great. It makes me feel good that I must be doing something right.
What are you looking forward to most when the doors open at the new Capital Food Market?
Oh, I'm looking forward to having all our customers back. The ones that don't know we're still here, but we're not. So I can't wait. Can't wait to have them all back. Can't wait to be busy. Can't wait. And that's the other thing. Being busy, we can put out fresh food because it's turning over, and it's just so good when it's busy for fresh food. Yeah, just can't wait to see the community all back.
Well, Christa, very much looking forward to seeing what you do at the New Capital Food Market, and an absolute honour to have you on Deep in the Weeds today to hear just a bit of your story. Please keep in touch and we'll catch up again soon.
Thanks so much, Anthony. Thanks for having me.
This is the Deep in the Weeds podcast. I'm Anthony Huckstep. Stay tuned as we take a deep dive into the lives of the incredible people who ply their trade in the food and hospitality sector. Special thanks to executive producer Rob Locke for making this all happen. Follow us on Instagram at Deep in the Weeds Podcast or email us at podcast@deepintheweeds.com.au. Stay safe and be well.